Before we begin, I just want to give a mention about the slide that we're all looking at right now. Our foundation department asked us to share this slide before each session today, and they're asking for you to consider a gift to either the Buck Student Emergency Fund, the Food Assistance Initiative, or their scholarship initiatives that they have. And you can contact Foundation either at the email address provided on that slide there, or you can visit their portion of the website.
Yeah, to avoid future ads in the future, donate now.
Donate now. Okay, so good morning again, and welcome to our 11:30 session. This is a quick session. This is just 15 minutes long. This will lead us to our last two sessions for the day. So right now we are securely logging into Buck's applications via multi-factor authentication. This brief yet informative session will review the procedures for completing the multi-factor authentication process. And this session will be delivered to you by the Executive Director of ITS Operations, Michael Hunchy.
Great.
All you, Mike.
All right, thanks, man. Let's see, let me share my screen here. Share. All right. You all seeing my little meerkat up there? All righty. So, Damon, thank you for the intro. Yes, I'm Mike Hunchy, Executive Director, IT Operations, and this is MFA-Y. I know some of you struggle with MFA a little bit, so hopefully we can get a little bit of the mystery behind MFA behind us and make it a little clearer. Anybody know what MFA stands for? Shaking their heads.
Multi-factor authentication.
Oh, very good, Linda. Very good. So let's talk about that. So here's why it's called multi-factor authentication. So you enter your password, you get verification from MFA, and you get access to the system. So it's like a double gateway to get into our systems. So the first factor is actually your password. You've been doing single factor authentication all along and you didn't even realize it. But now with multi-factor, it adds that second factor, that verification factor that you either accept or deny, depending on, if you're actually trying to log into the system, and then you finally get access to the system. So that's where the multi-factor authentication comes in at. Everybody understand that? All righty. So why protect? So we pushed the protect application, which resides on your phone, because it is the most convenient. You just have to click that accept button on your phone. And if you have an Apple Watch, I think it also works on Android watches as well, but smart watches. But you just either click accept on your phone or on your Apple Watch and you're in. If there's no network, it's not a problem, which is pretty important. It's also our most secure, and I'll talk about this no network, no problem a little bit more in a second. It's also the most secure. There's no code that's being transmitted, so there's no code to be intercepted. It's just this accept thing. There are a couple qualifiers. You have to have a lock code on your phone. So that means you either have to have, the finger swipe thing or your face ID thing or a PIN code that you enter to get into your phone. You need all, one of those. And you have to keep relatively current with updates. This is a security application. And so the security company wants to make sure your phone is secure and wants to make sure you are using, best practices and have the lock code. So what about that 6-digit code? If there's no network, no problem. So if you're somewhere and you don't have a network connection, but you do have like an Ethernet connection, so you are able to log in on a computer, but you're not getting the Wi-Fi or whatever connection, you can enter code manually. And we get lots of help desk tickets from people who say, I'm not getting my accept deny thing. And we say, enter the code manually. And they say, I'm not getting my accept deny thing. This code resides in that application all the time. It doesn't matter if you have a network connection or not. It is always there. And it generates about every 30 seconds. So this little circle over here shows that this guy's got about 15 seconds left before it regenerates. So This is supposed to be on your phone all the time, and it doesn't need a network connection. It stays synced with the server because the server is running the same algorithm, so that the two of them can talk, but they don't need to be connected to talk to each other. So how do you enter the code? So when you're on the computer screen and you're at this level and you say, well, I don't have a network connection, I'm not getting my accept deny request for whatever reason, you can say enter code manually right there. And then you put in this code. And again, if it's really close to the end, you might want to let it flip over before you enter the code. You got about 30 seconds. Each code stays active for about 30 seconds. Any questions about that? Damon, do you see anything? I hope you're watching the chat for me. All righty. So there are a couple other alternatives that you can use other than protect. Same process, enter your password, and you'll get verification either on SMS or email, and then you get access. A couple disadvantages or a couple things to note. On SMS, you have to have a valid phone number that can receive text. Now, we've had some people put down landlines. Landlines do not receive text messages, folks. We've also had some people block us. They've gotten the first notification from one login, then they've blocked us. And so messages aren't getting through to them. So make sure you have a phone line or a phone that can actually receive texts. SMS isn't available in all campus areas, right? There are certain basement rooms and stuff where you can't get to SMS. So you're trying to log in to the computer or teacher station in the basement of Founders or someplace, and you can't get a phone signal to get the SMS message. So that, again, protect, you can always log in. Email, you have to have a personal email on file with us. It's going to send a link to that personal email that you click on. You have to be logged into that personal email before you can log into any Bucks systems. So if you go into the teacher station right now, we don't require MFA at that initial login. When you just put your user ID at the teacher station and then put your password and you get in, then log into a personal email account, then try to get into a Bucks system, because again, that link is only active for about 30 seconds. So if you're fumbling around trying to remember what your personal email password is and trying to find which tab on the browser you put the personal email, chances are the link is going to expire by the time you click on it. So it's a little bulkier and harder to use, again, than less convenient to use than the protect factor. At some point in time, we're not requiring it yet, but at some point in time, we may go to requiring MFA at that initial login, and then you're going to have a separate device available to you. So we really don't favor email, and SMS is inconvenient because it's not available in all campus areas. It's also not as secure. With SMS, it does send a code that you have to key in. Any questions about that? See any? All righty. So there are a few issues. I'll admit it's not perfect. But if you run into an MFA issue, don't change your password. Your password is your first factor. It's not your second factor. Remember that. So you don't need to change your password. Just keep your password the same. Otherwise, it just confuses things. You may forget your phone, or you may break your phone. And in both of those cases, you should call the help desk, because we're going to have to reset something on your account. You're not probably going to be able to do that. Now, in some cases, if you haven't refreshed your browser, you may still be able to get in. And we'll talk about what you can do from when I get to the new phone section. No signal, it's not a problem if you have the Protect app, because of that 6-digit code I talked about. If you're on SMS, you may have to call the help desk again and get a code so you can get logged in. So what about new phones? So do this before you get your phone or while you still have your old phone. You're going to log into bucks.onelogin.com, and you're going to get this screen. You're going to want to click on your name right over here, and then profile will pop up. The profile looks like this. So you're going to want to click on security factors. That will pop up this screen. So OneLogin protects right there. You click on the 3 dots over here and you click remove. And that will get rid of your factor temporarily. When you get your new phone, you install the app, you go back through all of these steps. And when you get to the security factor screen, you click on add factor. You'll select protect and a new QR code will pop up, and then you'll scan that with your phone. And again, so if you still have a signal and you have a broken phone, but you're still able to get logged in, you can go do the same process and do that, remove the protect factor temporarily until you get your new phone. But a lot of times people will need their phone for the validation, and it always breaks at the most inconvenient time. All right, any other questions on that? Okay. All right, so there's one more issue. It asks me every stinking time I log in. Why does it do that? It's supposed to ask you about once a week, or anytime you open a new browser, or when you switch devices, or anytime you open a private or incognito window, or after clearing history. If none of those things are true and you're just logging into the same browser and it keeps asking you, may have to check your browser settings. So in Chrome, there's a couple settings. Block third-party cookies, block all cookies. If either of these is checked, you're going to be you're going to get asked every time. And clear cookies and site data when you close the windows. If this is on, it's off right now on this screen. It's going to clear them out, and it's going to clear that cookie. In Firefox, it's similar. It's under settings and then privacy and security, and I think it's privacy and security in Chrome as well. If this box is checked, delete cookies and site data when Firefox is closed. It's going to remove them every time you close the browser. So every time you get back in, you're going to have to revalidate the multi-factor. Pretty clear. So this is the quiz. This is the final exam. So you're eating dinner with your pals, you're running the Cordoba through the car wash, or you're just hanging with your friends, and you get a notification to whatever security factor you're using, whether you're using Protect or whether you're using SMS or whether you're using email. What do you do? Anybody know? Unmute yourself, and everybody's scared to answer.
Deny it.
Deny it. That's right. Yes, that's right. Do not accept it. Do not click on the link or type the code in, SMS, email. Do not. Do keep eating, washing the Cordoba, and hanging with your friends, and do this one thing when you get back to a computer. What do you do when you get back to your computer? What do you need to do?
Change your password.
Barb, you're right on. Change your password. Why do you need to change your password?
Because that's the first factor, and somebody's gotten it if they've gotten the multi-factor.
Wow, you should have gave this presentation, Barb. That's exactly right. In order to get the second factor, somebody had to have your password. If it wasn't you, somebody had to have your password so that you get the factor notification. And if that happens, then you have to, as Barb said, change your password because somebody has your password. That's why this is where multi-factor pays off for us. Somebody gets your password, but you still have your phone. They don't have your phone. They can't authorize it, so they can't get in. So they'll never verify it. They can't get in. So Barb, you passed with flying colors. Believe it or not, we've had at least 3 or 4 individuals, at least 3 or 4 individuals who have accepted it. I get the notification all the time, so I just accepted it. That's not what you should be doing. Do not accept it. If you're not the one right there at that point in time trying to log in, don't accept it. Somebody else has it, and do change your password. If you take nothing else away from this presentation, that's the most key thing. Any questions?
I have a question. I am getting a new phone probably on Sunday. So are these directions in case I need to refer back? Are they available on the LibGuide for help desk?
Yes, there are directions on the new phone thing. I think it's in the regular MFA one. You got to go down to the bottom. Don't follow the normal steps, but go down to the bottom, I think, where it says new phone, or there may be just a new phone one. I can't remember, Linda, if Glenn put 2 together or not, but there should be out there. But the key thing is go to box.onelogin.com and then go through those steps and remove that security factor. what we'll do, if you forget to do all that stuff and you get a new phone, what we usually do is we remove the factor for you. And then we change you back so that the next time you try to log in, it'll ask you to set up your security factors. Any other questions? Hey, Glenn, you're on the call, actually. Is there a separate one for a new phone?
No, it's at the bottom, like you said.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. This was short and sweet, but that's what it was supposed to be.